We all can agree that raising a family in these times is challenging. With everything being so exposed and accessible through social media and the influence that come along with it, how do we find the balance?
Does your child feel confined and has no outlet?
Sasha, meet me in the bathroom so we can take our Instagram pics, because once I get home, they won't let me out.
Would your child come to you when they need help?
Mom, I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Do you know the signs when your child is crying out for help?
Mickelson, you don't listen. The school has called me and now I have to attend another school meeting. This time you lose your video games for 2 months.
Do you and your family need access to resources?
I lost my job. How will we get our bills paid?
Does your family have expectations and boundaries for mutual respect and understanding?
I am the man of the house, but my family does not respect me.
Finally, a show where families can feel supported and get resources for guidance during these troubled times. Presented to you by Good News Community Action. Family Matters, a radio show, aired every Saturday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. A new segment discussing all things and situations relating to families. Family Matters Discussions, a radio show for everyone to listen together.
The content of this program is provided for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not to be considered as advice, referral, or recommendations. Any use of the information provided is at the sole discretion of the listener. The presenters and this radio station expressly disclaims liability for errors and omissions in the contents of the presented resources and information already available to the general public. The presenters and this radio station do not have any affiliations to the agencies presented. Détail présenté sous programme ça c'est pour éducation et information seulement. Moun pas doit considérer comme conseil référal ou soit recommandation. N'importe utilisation information qui base, c'est sous cette discussion moun kap koute. Présentateur yo ak station radio pas gen aucune responsabilité pour la commission pour ressources présenter ak information qui déjà disponible dans public en général. Présentateur yo ak station radio pas gen aucune affiliation avec agence qui présenté.
Good News family, to the Family Matters, the radio show. I feel like I need to say that so that we don't confuse it with the 90s sitcom called Family Matters, just as a disclaimer. So no, this is not that show. This is a radio segment. And it's formatted mostly to have like a conversation and to discuss important topics relating to families. Family Matters will be heard here on WYGG Good News Radio every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. This segment is made available to you through Good News Community Action, and you're going to hear about that a little bit more during the show. So I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you for welcoming us into your home. For those of you who are listening, we are going to give opportunity for you to call in and give your opinion, just to give a shout out, whatever you want to do. So during this segment, we're going to be discussing everything relating to families. I feel like families is so important, and there's not enough time and education and opportunity for people to sit down and discuss how families are brought up. So we have taken out this time through Good News Community Action, which is a nonprofit organization, to educate, uplift, motivate, support families and individuals in our community. And just as a PBA, if there's a particular topic that you're interested in listening to, you'd like us to research, you'd like us to discuss on the air, you're going to be able to call the phone number to the radio station. It's 732-775-0220 or 732-775-0225. And if no one answers, you can leave a voicemail. We're going to get it, and we're going to be able to listen to what you have to say and follow through with it. And before you know it, you'll be hearing the topic that you suggested discussed here on this program. And I'm going to repeat what I just said in Creole because this is supposed to be a multilingual show. So we want to make sure that everyone is able to understand. I would like to say bienvenue dans nouveau programme ça que nous gagnons qui relève affaires de famille. Nous allons discuter tout bagay qui gagne pour le ensemble avec famille parce que famille est important, gens que nous lever ti moun nou yo, gens que nous communiquer ensemble avec l'autre, gens que nous supporter une avec l'autre, ça vraiment important. So pour raison ça, Good News Community Action, ça c'est une non-profit organisation dans Radio Bonne Nouvelle que yo bay pour nous dans la communauté pour nous ka joindre ressources pour nous ka joindre moun ka motiver nous élever nous et pas nous support que nous besoin n'a mette numéro téléphone radio si que nous gagnons un sujet que nous table discuter ou ka relé numéro téléphone radio qui te message si que pas un monde qui là pour yo répondre téléphone nan ou carré qui te message et puis n'a besoin appel là et puis n'a fait recherche pour nous gagner tout typique ou bien sujet que nous suggérer pour nous parler ensemble avec eux dans show qui venir moi besoin faire nous connaître que chose ça Family Matters ou bien affaires de famille n'a tendez chaque samedi vers 4h à 5h dans Radio Bonne Nouvelle. Téléphone pour nous relais, c'est 732-775-0220 ou bien 732-775-0225. So we're back. Today we are discussing the concept of family. What is family? That's the topic of our show today. And I thought it was fitting to start with this as a segment, as the first topic, because we wanted to unload that word family, break it down so we could see what it is, what it's not, you know, how important is this institution to all peoples and all walks of life. And I always say, for as much differences as there are between different groups of people in the world, family, the concept of family is the one thing that we all have in common because at some point, everyone had a mother, a father, some had brothers or sisters or even grandparents, uncles, aunties. I think you kind of get the point. So everyone, whether you're living today or past, had a family because you were born into the family. But first, I would like to introduce myself to you because you need to know who you're speaking to, and let you know that there's a group of people in here in the studio with me who's in the background helping, and I just want to thank them for being here and for all their support, and for all the wonderful work that they're doing in introducing this segment to you guys. My name's Elna Montgomery. You can call me L, you can call me M. It doesn't matter to me. I'm so happy to be here. It's my privilege and honor to have this opportunity to be able to come to the radio and speak to you guys about this important topic. I'm a native born of Haiti. I immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 9. I grew up in the public school system. I graduated high school. I am a person of faith. I'm married. I have 2 children. I have worked with children since I was a preteen. I am a child welfare advocate, professionally employed by the state of New Jersey for 17 years and going. I hold a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in child advocacy and policy, both from Montclair State University. I am here on a volunteer basis to present this segment to the community and as my way of giving back to the community, because that's what we're supposed to do. Once you've reached a certain point in your life and you have achieved goals, and you have something of value to offer to people, I believe it's our duty to be able to come back and to help out in whatever way, shape, or form that you can, because that is the example that we're supposed to set and to leave for our kids, the generation that is to come. Because when we are gone, when we're old and we're gone, we need to be able to leave here a group of individuals who will take up the mantle and follow in our footsteps so that the world could keep going and everyone can flourish in it. So this is sort of like a homecoming for me, because believe it or not, I used to be part of the radio a long time ago on a segment called Bridging the Gap, but that was like more than 16 years ago. So I'm very happy to be returning back to the radio. And I see that things are still functioning, that it has been for a very long time, through the support of many of you who continue to call in and who continue to financially support the radio station. So lastly, professionally, in addition to my daytime job as a reviewer, and by way of disclosure, I just wanted to let you know that I moonlight as a real estate agent, but we'll talk about that on other shows to come. But that's enough about me. I thought it was important for you to know, and I hope in time you and I can get to know one another, because you guys will call in and you'll talk to me. I'm not going to sit here and talk all by myself. And we're going to be there for each other, support one another. So let's get to our topic, okay? Our topic today is, what is family? So the dictionary, if you look up the word family, it says that family is a group of one or more parents and their children living together as a unit. As community builders, we want to focus on building strong families. And I, for one, think we are all community builders, because everything starts with family, because children are born and raised into families. They have a mother, a father, or a caregiver, someone to care for them, who is going to help them to develop and to grow, shape up their personality. So what you instill in that young person is what they're going to have to give back to the community and to live their lives, So first and foremost, if I have to say, if you want to build and raise a strong family, God has to be in the center of your family. And I don't know, it's my belief. You may believe in something differently. And to that, I say to each his own. But for me and my family, God absolutely has to be the center, because that's what keeps us rooted and grounded, that keeps us focused when we're not getting along, because let's face it, families don't always get along. We are able to come back together, we are able to forgive one another, and we're able to communicate and love each other once again. The second thing I would say in building strong families is education. Developing and instilling great morals and values in a child from the time when they're in the belly. They say that if you read to a child when they're in the belly, they begin to develop a love for reading and for learning. This is from when they're inside the womb. How important is it to continue to do that, to educate children when they're able to, when they start learning language and learning to speak, learning to walk, learning to associate and socialize with other people. So it's important. And the third one is to communicate, listening and supporting one another. Okay, well, when all is said is done, families is the world's greatest asset. That is when personalities are formed, developed, and influenced at the time when children are being raised. And I say this too, if world leaders want to see the improvement of social norms within the nations, investing in families and being concerned about family matters may go a long way in improving our communities, the communities that we live in, and even the world at large. And we as caregivers should think about that, because most of the time we become leaders in our communities, when we go to school or we take on a trade and we become experts in our field, we get opportunities to lead others. So if someone poured out negativity into you, what are you going to return or give back? when you start speaking, when you interact with other people, you're going to react to them negatively. But if positivity is poured within you, then you're going to be a positive person. You're going to be an encouraging person, and you're going to have a lot to offer, and you're going to help to build others with similar characters as yourself and not the other way. So I say we are first leaders in our communities, in our families, in our children, our siblings, sometimes our extended family as well. The way that we are responsible for them, we are raising leaders in our communities. So I have for you a couple of quotes, and then from there we're going to take a small break to listen to a song. So it was Letty Cotton Pogben who says, "If the family were a boat, it would be a canoe that makes no progress unless everyone paddles." Think about that for a minute, okay? Just think about it for 1 second. Okay? So I have 4 additional quotes, and after that, then we're gonna take a small break, and then we're gonna come back with some additional information, some facts, interesting facts that I was able to research and find out about families. So the other quote says, and I want you guys to really think about this, and I'm going to try to translate a little bit in Creole so that our Creole listeners can also benefit from what these people had to say. So Peter Buffett said, "It didn't matter how big our house was. It mattered that there was love in it." Let's think about that for a minute. So my son is actually in the studio with me. So I guess Peter Buffett is trying to let me know that it doesn't matter that we don't live in a big mansion. So my son doesn't care that that our house is not a mansion. He only cares that there's love in it. Think about that. Is that the way your children feel? That they just want to be loved. They want to feel accepted. They want to know that you're there for them. That's very interesting fact. And then we have another one by Jane Howard, and she says, "Call it a clan, call it a network, call it a tribe, call it family. Whatever you call it, whoever you are, you need one." And that is so true. Everybody needs family. Like I said, we're born into families. We are raised by caregivers, mothers, fathers. Everyone needs someone, and there are some people who are isolated, feeling isolated when they have a lot of family, but they feel alone. Think about that. And if you had something to do with someone feeling isolated, this is the moment, this is the time for you to reach out to someone and to talk to them, and just let bygones be bygones, and let things be water under the bridge, and just seek forgiveness, and or say you're sorry, so that you can start building on that relationship, because no one should feel isolated or alone when they have family. And then there's another quote by David Steers who says, "Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten." That's right. Think about that. Within your family, does everyone in your family feel included, right? Does this sound like your family? Everyone is included. No one is left behind. Everyone has opportunity to voice their opinions. Think about that for a second, because I want you guys to call in and tell me if these quotes resonate with you and if they remind you of your family. And here's the last quote that I have by someone named Coco. It says, "We may have our differences, but there's nothing more important than family." And I said, "Well said," to Coco, because we're all different, that's what makes us unique. That's the way God designed us, for us to be different, for us to have difference of opinion, for us to like different colors, or, we think differently. If everything was the same, it would be very boring. So that's the way God designed us. So we should cherish that. We should embrace the differences that we have. So, and respect one another, even in the differences of our opinions. All right. So right now, if you guys could think about what I said about the quotes, and if it resonates with you, I'm gonna ask you guys to give me a call and let me know about your family. What does that look like? What does your family look like? Does any of these quotes resonate with your family? What's important about your family? I'm gonna ask you to please give me a call. I'm gonna find the phone number in 1 second so you can give me a call. The phone number is 732-775-0220. Again, it's 732-775-0220 or 732-775-0225. So give me a call and let me know what family means to you. What does it look like for you? Because we're going to get to the definition in a little bit more detail. We're going to talk about what families look like today, because what families used to look like in the 1960s is completely different from what it looks like today. So we're going to take a quick break, listen to this song. If you want to dance around a little bit, feel free to do so. And then don't forget to give me a call and discuss with me what family means to you.
Just begun to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we have for the future and our goals in sight. We know we don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel.
Okay, good news family. Welcome again to Family Matters. You're listening to the topic, what is family? And you heard the song, I got all my sisters with me. And I do have one of my sisters on the line, Stephanie Kantav, who's going to come on and share some very important information with us regarding Good News Community Action. Stephanie, Hello, you can take it away now.
Oh, hello, Elna. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on today. Um, I really appreciate you allowing me the time to take a little bit of your time today to talk a little bit about Good News Community Action. Um, Once again, I thank you for doing this show. I think it's important. It's important topics that I'm sure you're going to be discussing, and I know how hard you've been working behind the scenes to launch this show. So congratulations on that, and thank you for taking kind of that responsibility to do a show like this. So as a community, I know I appreciate it, and I'm sure the community appreciates your hard work on this show and for what you're going to be doing for the community. So on behalf of myself and Good News Media Action, I definitely want to thank you for doing this show.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. And thanks for calling in. I know you have wonderful things to share with us. So I'm just going to let you keep talking. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So, like Elna said, my name is Stephanie Cantav. I did a show on the radio previously, but right now I'm working on with Good News Community Action, this nonprofit that we have started to be able to provide a voice and a resource for the community. We have a big population within the Monmouth County and even beyond within the New Jersey area, and I think we can be a force to be reckoned with if we have the right resources and the right um, backing behind us as a community. So, Good News Community Action, we have a lot of stuff in store. So, one of our main goals is to be able to provide resources for the community. We want to be a support for the community and be a voice for the community. We have activities and projects planned geared towards elevating and helping out the community. For example, we do have a back to school event that's going to be happening in August where we're going to be providing um, backpacks and school supplies to people going back to school. And we're going to have a lot of fun things planned. So we're going to be looking forward to doing that and hoping the community turns out because it is stuff that we're planning for the community. And I hope that you guys are able to join us in celebrating our students and preparing them to go back to school in the fall. There's we want to do workshops and clinics and events about important topics and important things within the community, whether it be immigration, family, other types of resources that are needed in the community. We definitely want to be able to provide that kind of resource for the community as well. Um, so be on the lookout. You're probably going to be hearing a lot from us about us in the next few months. And so we just want to get our names out there to make sure that people know that we are a resource and that we're here. Once again, we are a nonprofit. And we just, the people that are involved in this just want to have something that is for the community and by us as a community so that we have something that we can go to rely on to get information, education, and other resources that we need. So once again, that's Good News Community Action. In terms of Good News Community Action, we're always looking for volunteers. If anybody's involved, wants to get involved, reach out to, I guess you could reach out to the radio station as well, and they'll get in contact with us, and we'll be able to connect you with our group and our people to see where you best fit and what you're passionate about and what you want to do in terms of working with us within the organization. We're also looking for feedback on what kind of support and what kind of services that you're looking for from us. Obviously, we're just getting started, so we're not, huge, but we definitely don't want to be doing something that is not even something that the community wants. So we definitely want people to reach out to us and engage with us and let us know what kind of services you're looking at, what kind of services you need, what problems you're facing, what issues you're facing within your lives and your community. And if there's something that we can do as an organization, then we'll try to, at least direct you to the right resources, or if we can provide those resources for you. And so that's it. I don't want to take too much of the time. Emma, I know you have a lot planned, but I just wanted to kind of introduce myself and introduce the organization and hope that people are able to look to us as a resource within the community and within the overall area as someplace that they can go to. So, muy mestio pu show sa sea I should say a little bit about this in Creole. Um,
Yes.
but anyway, nous on organisation Good News Community Action, nous là pour nous bailler ressources, pour nous bailler information, éducation pour communauté a. Nous avons un bon bagage nous planifier pour nous faire pour année a, et pour supporter communauté haïtienne là. Nous avons là nous avons bon haïtien dans la communauté a, nous besoin nous organisation qui besoin là pour nous ba nous ressources ça. So en août nous gagnons un event qu'on a fait pour tout le monde qui va retourner à l'école là, n'a pas yo bagay pour l'école, cahier, papier, bagay ça pour retourner à l'école, n'a pas un bon bagay, n'a pas un bon monde qui vini vendors, things like that, jouer pour tout le monde yo bagay ça yo, li a passé en août, nous gagnons l'autre bagay nous t'a voulu faire tout bagay éducation pour ba information pour nous pour bagay d'immigration, éducation et l'autre bagay nous pensons nous avons besoin pour communauté et me dit aussi nous besoin volontaires n'importe qui t'a voulu travailler avec nous relais radio a connecter nous pour nous si ou pour connecter avec nous pour nous qui ont aider nous dans mission ça nous gagne et nous toujours besoin tendez from the community pour nous dire nous qui ça nous t'a voulu qui ça nous dans communauté où ou besoin de ressources qui va passer dans la vie ou qui passer dans l'école qui passer parce que pas qu'à tout bagarre qui passer et nous même seulement qui la planifier ça nous penser communauté a besoin mais nous besoin communauté à parler avec nous dire nous qui ça qui passer qui ça besoin aide là-dedans et si nous capables n'a organiser nous pour nous aider nous si nous capables so organisation ça et pour communauté alliée et pour nous tous nous en bonne là et là nous travaillons ensemble voir nous plus fort so si nous tous mettons tête nous ensemble nous avons bonne power nous avons bon pouvoir so that's it thank you for your time, Elna. I don't have anything more to say. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But
No,
that is all. I just wanted to introduce myself and say
Stephanie.
congratulations on the show and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Stephanie. That was really good. I'm thinking maybe this will be like a regular thing where you come on and you explain what's going on with Good News Community Action, since this show is being brought to the listeners by Good News Community Action. So it would be good for them to stay informed, keep them abreast as to, all the activities and all the programs and resources that are available. I do have a couple of things to share with them regarding what's going on in Asbury Park for the month of April. And some things that they can get involved in. But yes, I think this should be regular. And then, that whole transition into Creole, that was also really good. What do you
Thank you.
think
I
about
appreciate
that?
I know my mom might say something different. I know.
Well, I think yours is better than mine. So thank you so much for taking out the time and discussing that with us because I think it's so important. Every other culture, every other group out here has their own. They have, a place where they can go and it's like the people there speak their language, and they have those resources available to them. They have people that help them to fill out forms. They have people that guide them, and make them feel comfortable because it's people from their home, from their home countries and everything. I feel like we need to have that too as Haitians. So I'm encouraging all the young people out there to come on out and volunteer. You know how to do this stuff. So let's do it for our community. Let's do it for our families. Let's do it for our grandparents. They need our help. I don't know how many phone calls I got in the past couple of months regarding elderly people and how they are lacking in resources when there's a division of aging and families can contact these people and they will help the elderly with whatever resources that they need, whatever it is, help them to apply for benefits that they are eligible for. So we have this information. The older population may not have this information. So if the younger community came together and decided that they're going to, set some time aside from Facebook and from social media and from all the fun things that they like to do. And it's okay to have fun. We're not saying anything about that. We're just saying create some time to give back to our older population and to help them out a little bit, and everyone else who may need the help, because there are still people immigrating from Haiti, and they need help. Because when they don't have the help, they don't have the skills, they don't have the understanding, the knowledge, they don't know about this country. People take advantage of them, and we don't want that. We don't want to see, because they're, even though we're not blood related to them, they are still our family, and that's the point of this show. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming on board and for bringing out those points. And really, I'm serious about it. I would like for you to continue to come on and explain what Good News Community Action has going on during every segment, if possible. Okay, so we are going to continue on. We're going to go into detail about what the different types of families, okay? So now we're going to learn. So the very first one, and I was able to look up some information, and it's not a lot, but you're going to have a clear understanding of the different types of families that exist, right? So the first one, the books would have us to know, is called a nuclear family. So this is where they say that it's two adults, at least, a mother and a father raising a child. So when most people think about a family, this is the kind of family that they imagine. Is this the kind of family that you imagine? I think back in the day, maybe yes. Today, not so much, right? There are different kinds of nuclear families now. So some have many children, while others only have one. Some have a mother, some have a father, while others have two parents that may look the same. And some may have biological children, and some may have adopted children. There are totally different ways that families look nowadays in 2023. And even though we may not agree with what that looks like, it is what it is. That's the way things are in the world. And I don't see things going back. I see things moving forward. Because even the Bible says that nothing is new under the sun. So now we just have access to be able to see it, and it's more prevalent and it's more in your face. And so this is what the information is saying out there, that there's a nuclear family with a mother, a father, or two parents and a child, right? And then there's single parent families, okay? A single parent family is usually a mother raising a child, or a father raising a child, and for whatever reason, the two parents are not together, but they're still raising a child. Anything could have happened where either the father passed away, or the mother passed away, or they got a divorce, and then one of them has custody of the child and the other one doesn't, or they just split up, whatever it is. The statistics would have us to know that 25% of American children are born to single mothers nowadays. And then we have something called the blended family. The blended family, or if you would have it called, I think they call that step family. And I don't know exactly what the Creole word for step family is, but basically what the blended family is, it's when a single parent marries another single parent, and that single parent already had a child of their own. And then they come together and they form a family. For example, I have an example. So if a woman named Sarah and her husband had two kids, and then they got a divorce, or they split up for whatever reason, then another person named Luke and his wife have three kids, and then they get a divorce. Then Sarah and Luke come together and they get married. Now they form a family with the kids that they had with other people. And there are families that look like that nowadays. I'm sure you can relate to that type of family, because either if it's not in your immediate family, maybe it's your aunt's family that's like that, or your sister's family that's like that. We can relate to that. And then there are grandparent families. I told you that I work for the state of New Jersey as Child Welfare Services. So we have a lot of grandparents that are raising their grandchildren. So that's a family, because mom and dad, for whatever reason, were not able to continue raising their kids. Now grandma and grandpa is raising that child or those children for their child, for their adult children, the parents of the kids. So, and that's a type of family. So we can't be like small-minded and thinking that families are only just a mother, a father, and the child. No, it looks very differently nowadays. And then we have childless families. So it's a couple that came together, and maybe they hope to have children, or maybe they had no hopes of having children, because let's face it, people have choices. Even God gave us free will to be able to decide how we want to live our life, what we want to do in terms of having children or not having children. So a family could just be a couple living together, a husband and a wife, and their family to each other. And then there's something called extended families. Extended families are families that include one or two parents, children, grandparents, sometimes aunts and uncles. You have all these people. Sometimes they are living together, but sometimes they don't have to necessarily live together. So as the grandparents get older, they might move in with their adult children and grandchildren. And I personally think that's a wonderful thing if that were to happen more in our communities, because then we wouldn't have to put our older our grandparents, our mothers and our fathers, our children's grandparents into like nursing homes if they could move in with us. And sometimes it's not always feasible, but financially it's a blessing to be able to do that. And then as part of the extended family, another adult family member might move in to help with the children as well, like an auntie or an uncle or a sister who has not formed a family of their own, but they moved in with, their sister's family to be able to help out. So families look very different, and there's different makeup of families. We have to be open-minded to the way things are, and to be respectful and mindful of that, because you may look at things in your point of view, the way that you were raised and the beliefs that you were taught as a child, and then someone else was raised completely different and they follow a different format of how they're going to form and live their life. So we have to be respectful. So let's talk about a little bit of facts about modern families. And this was obtained from pewresearch.org. You can find this on the internet. It's talking about how younger Americans or younger people today are putting off life's milestones, and how the younger generation today are not rushing to get married. They are not rushing to have children. They're not even rushing to buy a house. But some of them are buying homes because they want to be able to build wealth before they get into that, having a child and getting married, because it's so expensive raising a child and getting married now. It costs a lot of money to do that. So they're putting those things off. And so you find that the average medium age of a young woman or a young man having a kid is 29 years old, and a young woman is 27 years old. Think about that. How old were you when you had your first child? Now the young people, they're not having children as early as that we used to. In the 1960s, it was 15 and 24 years old. But now in 2023, it's like 30s, people are looking to have their first child. And so the other statistic that I ran into talked about the average age for a woman in America to have a kid now. It seems to be, not the average age, but on average, the American woman has about two children, which is affecting the fertility rate in the country. You know, I was reading something about in Japan how the older population is is they're dying off and they don't have enough children to grow up and to continue with community forming and to continue with their way of life. And there are other places where they're actually asking families or young people to move in so that they can continue, because as people get older, and they die off, who's going to be left over to continue in the community? So and then there's other statistics that could be a little bit controversial about children before marriage, or children to unmarried mothers and fathers. Yeah, there are statistics about that. And again, this is a personal preference. Everyone has the right to do what they decide to do. And we are not here to judge. We are not here to be the law and to say, what people can do with their lives or what they can't do with their lives. So we're going to leave that one alone. And then, of course, there's other information that is available. And you can find this information on your own, like I said, on the internet, if you're interested in knowing about stuff like that, from pewresearch.org. Okay. So let's talk about the qualities of healthy family functioning. Okay. So, and this is information that I compiled together from my training. Like I said, I'm a child and family advocate. I've been in this field my entire adult career. And so I just wanted to share some of this information with you. So, what is healthy family functioning? Well, healthy family functioning is those things that a family possesses and that they actively engage in on a daily basis. And it has to be conscious. You have to be intentional about it to make sure that your family functions healthily, that you're not in dysfunction, and that you're not in chaos, and that you're not in constant crisis and bickering and fighting and not getting along with one another. So the very first thing is, to me, is communication, right? So every member of the family needs to have a voice. Every member of the family needs to be allowed to have self-expression. Every member of the family needs to be able to give their opinions. Every member of the family has suggestions. They have a brain, they have thoughts, they know how they feel, they know how to speak. And even if they don't know how to speak, they know how to figure out a way to say what they want to say. So they should be allowed to have that voice and to communicate without any fear of repercussion, or they're going to be put down, or they're going to be let down, and that they're going to be judged in a negative way. Okay, so communication is the first one. The second one is respect. So every member of the family have the right to be respected by the other members of the family. Okay, and how do you respect people? You listen to what they have to say. Okay, and you're not rude to them. These are the things that we teach our children. When someone's speaking, you listen. And sometimes, you might cut someone off or whatever when they're speaking. You just recognize that, you say sorry, and you allow them to keep speaking. So you remain calm, allow the other person, even if they're saying something that you don't agree with, that you have, something that you're going to say in rebuttal and response, allow them the opportunity to finish saying what they're saying and remain calm until you have the opportunity to get your point across. Okay, that will go a long way in keeping all the arguments down to a minimum. Okay, so the other thing that I wrote down is understanding. So every family member has a right to understanding. Okay, how do we understand one another? Try to relate to what the other person is saying, or what they're going through, or what's happening to them, and understand their perspective, understand where they're coming from. You don't have to necessarily agree, but you can understand where they're coming from, and you could try to see their point of view, and you could try to encourage and motivate in that very moment. Okay. And it's not to say that you give them that affirmation and then they believe that you are supporting them and you understand them. So basically, what I'm trying to say is don't be fake, okay? So if you don't believe in what they're saying or you don't agree, just say, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I can understand it and I will hear you out, okay? And the other thing I would say is trust, right? Family members need to have trust amongst each other because if there's no trust, then you really don't have family, right? You should be able to trust one another and know that you're safe in the presence of your family. When you're talking to your family, you can trust that whatever you're saying to your family, it's going to stay within your family. You're not going to hear it on the streets. Other people are talking about your business, because your own family took your business out to the streets. So, trust within the family is very, very important because feeling safe in your own spaces, in the space of your own family, that goes a very long way. Okay. And going back to communication, there was a point I needed to bring across regarding how important communication is, especially for mothers and for fathers or caregivers, grandparents. If you're an adult raising a younger person, that communication thing is so important. You have no idea how important it is. There are a lot of young people who are out here committing self harm to themselves because they're going through something that has nothing to do with the family. They're going through something that may have to do something with their friends or something somebody said about them. It's outside of the home, but it's affecting them. But they don't have anyone to talk to about it because in the past when they came to talk to mom or to dad or whoever it is that's responsible for them, they were shunned out or they were yelled at or they were dismissed. And so now they're suffering alone. There's no reason why someone should be in a family, living in the same home, having caregivers who are providing for them, resources, putting a roof over their head, giving them food to eat, clothes to wear. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to feel comfortable to come and talk to you about a simple thing. To them, it's not really that simple because they're hurting behind it. But to have access, open door policy for them to be able to come to you and talk to you about what's affecting them. So it's very important, especially when you're raising teenagers. Every little thing affects them, because right at that moment they're into their feelings, and so you have to be very careful in letting them know they can come and talk to you at any given time, no matter what's going on. Supporting one another is a big one, and being flexible, okay? Spending time with each other. I'm going to rush through this because the time is coming up. Being flexible, spending time with each other and encouraging one another. Leave room for mistakes. No one is perfect. You guys know this. Nobody is perfect. Human beings make mistakes all the time. It's not the end of the world. We have to learn from our mistakes. So you have to leave room for especially the young people to make mistakes so they can learn from it, okay? I'm going to go over this real quick in Creole. Li vraiment important là que n'a parlé de bon santé pour famille et pas santé dans corps seulement, non? Santé tant que jan famille a fonctionner, c'est pour nous gagner bonne communication pour ti moun yo ou bien que n'importe moun dans famille qui vient parler ensemble avec nous dès qu'il y a un problème, on bagay ka prend merde yo, ennuyer yo, qui ba yo problème pour yo ka vinn parler ensemble avec nous. Li important pour nous ba yo opportunité pour yo ka expresser tête yo, pour yo ka ba opinion yo, suggestion yo. Parce que yo genye cerveau tout, yo ka penser, so li important pour nous quitter yo, ba yo opportunité pour yo ka parler. Et puis, li important pour nous respecter yo, pour nous entendre ça y a dit. Dans le moment qu'il a expliqué nous, ça y a dit, si que nous pas agréé ensemble avec lui, puis on commence à fâcher, puis on commence à râler, simplement entendre yo, et puis les que temps arrivé pour parler ou même, ou expliquer yo, sans penser tout. Parce que même gens yo même, yo besoin de respect, faut que yo ba au respect tout. Essayez de comprendre qui ça a dit, pour nous avoir une bonne relation, comprendre, essayez de comprendre sa eksplikasyon ke yo ba ou an, mem le ke ou pa agreye, eseye kompran ki sa yo vle di yo. E pi fò gen konfians nan fami an. Tout moun nan fami an supose gen konfians. Tout sa ke ou pataje ansam avek yon nan fami an, yo pa pral pote dle yo, al pale lot moun, koze yo, afe yo, fòk gen konfians nan fami an. Support pour famille. Chaque monde dans famille est supposé supporter l'autre. Et puis, mbaron ki je peux dire moi ça, faut gen flexibility dans famille. Gele nous connaît ça moi dit en créole, ma kon moi en créole. Pour les que nous Timoun yo ben ken n'importe moun vin parler ensemble avec nous pour nous pas un seul gens pour nous bien serrer dans pensée nous faut que nous ka tande ça moun n'a dit et puis pour nous essayer de comprendre et puis quitter ba yo chance pour yo ka faire un petit erreur parce que tout monde fait erreur dans vie yo. Ça pas veut dire moun n'a fini parce que moun fait erreur parce que les moun n'a fait erreur c'est là ça yo gen opportunité pour yo capable apprendre. OK? So m'te essayer dire ça en créole pour nous. M'a retourner encore en anglais. Konya, m'te content présenter typique ça sujet ça ensemble avec nous. What is family? Qui sa famille? M'te ba nous explication de qui jan famille semblait dans pays ça dans monde nan. Dans toute famille, gen bon explication qui jan tout bagay sa yo ye. Semaine prochaine, nous retourner, m'a continuer pour m'ka expliquer nous qui jan pour nous qui jan m'ta dit moi ça efforcer famille, strengthen the family pour famille ka fort en pile. M'a expliquer nous gen quelques points pour m'ba nous pour m'ka expliquer nous qui jan que nous ka lever ti moun yo bien parler ensemble avec famille pour famille ka vin fort et puis pour nous ka gagner un paquet de bagages que nous ka partager ensemble avec l'autre même te besoin faire nous connaître qui ça ka privé dans mois d'avril là gagner si que nous t'a vle participer dans bagay sa yo gagner dans Koala Urban Farm qui là dans Asbury Park dans 115 Atkins Avenue. Et puis, programme ça li gratis, ou pas besoin de payer rien pour lui. Yo va le faire poetry and plants. Ça veut dire que plant, yo dit comme ça, ou ka vin li un petit poetry, et puis ou ka joindre un plan pour ka planter. Parce que mois d'avril, là, c'est mois que moun commence à planter tout bagay pour yo ka grandi bien belle. Yon paquet de bagay ka privé dans Asbury Park, dans Public Library Asbury Park là, yo gen programme presque chaque samedi dans mois d'avril là, si que nous t'avle aller ou bien relais numéro téléphone yo dans 500 First Avenue Asbury Park. Si nous besoin bagay pour nous faire avec Timoun yo, aller dans library pour nous ka mener Timoun yo dans library pour yo participer dans programme. Gagné Summer Enrichment Program qui a fait pour Timoun qui pre-K jusqu'à 6e grade. Que yo bay Timoun yo manger, ya bay yo déjeuner, ya bay yo lunch tout. Chaque jour dans summer, ça commence 5 juillet jusqu'à 8 août. Et puis, si que nous besoin de ressources pour tout bagay, nous ka relais numéro 211 ou bien ou ka aller sur 211.org. C'est là que vous recevoir direction pour ka joindre toute qualité de ressources que vous besoin. Si c'est à faire manger, si c'est à faire caille, si c'est à un programme mental, que n'importe bagay nous besoin, y a ba nous direction, y a voyer non agency que nous ka joindre ça. Et puis cité de Asbury Park chercher moun pour yo employé pour summer 2023 ou ka aller dans website Asbury Park là pour nous ka chercher travail. Merci beaucoup, c'était un plaisir pour me caler ensemble avec nous dans programme Affaires de Famille, Family Matters. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to be with you. We will be back again next Saturday from 4 to 5. So stay tuned into Good News Radio, WYGG. Thank you again, and you guys have a great afternoon.
En pile rouge va rouler, là nous prier. En pile rouge va rouler, là nous prier. La foi rouge va rouler, là nous prier, mon Dieu. Toujours tendre à petite lit.
This is WYGG 88.1 FM, Asbury Park.
Parce qu'on va t'amener tous ensemble avec nous. Et quoi les a fait pour nous. Au nom de Jésus. Alléluia. Là nous prions. Mais toujours tendre.